Yes. Today I'm going to touch. I'm not do. I'm not. Wouldn't be doing a poem today. I'm going to just make my observation on subject that I was thinking about recently, and that subject is the planet that we live in. Um, I've been looking at it, thinking about it, and not really sure, but I've been thinking about it. I wanted to know like who's the people that really own this planet, right? Usually we all, we might be living scattered around the world, different countries, with different headings, whether it's in South America, Latin America, um, North America, Africa, or Europe, or Asia. Yeah, all we know, we're born in whichever country it is, and we're supposed to be from that country, right? But what I find usually is that there's a big divide between the people and the people that govern the country. Like, we have elections. Not every country got elections. Lots of times in countries there's fraud, whatever, fixed elections or whatever. But we have a system, and then we supposedly elect these people, and they're supposed to look out for our interests. But usually, a lot of these people, they get carried away with power, and usually look as themselves as the people, the people that make the decisions, and they usually think of themselves as higher than the ordinary man in the street or woman in the street, and that's what they do. So there's usually a great disconnect between those people, um, the ordinary people in the country, and the people that do the governance, right? The system is really it's flawed, wherever you go in the world. It's usually flawed because at the end of the day, the ordinary man in the street or woman in the street don't make the decisions. The decisions are handed down by the people in government, right? That you're supposed to help elect it, but are so disconnected to you, right? The individual. So I always know about that and think of it, and I think it's a similar system in every country around the world because countries look to other countries to get to learn or to adapt their way of doing things or their way of governance or their way of electing people into government or whatever. And that's why our systems all around the world are so interconnected, right? Seems similar. And that is true. That is true. The ordinary low class or the ordinary man and woman in the street really don't make any decisions. They just play along because they think that, oh, I vote for this person and I elect this person, and that is the person that's um, going to make the decisions and whatever, and they want to go along with it. But usually you find that is so, lots of times is so counter to what people really want, right? Or how people really want to do things. Sometimes the government is at odds, right? They want to do things, a certain way. That you know, but it's easy to understand that the system of electing people, um, it's they don't have to do what you want, and usually the agenda is different, right? They do things based on what other countries want, right? Whatever country you live in, the politicians do things based on whatever other countries want because the systems are interconnected. So that's why there's always a great divide between the people who help elect governments and the actual government itself, right? Um, and that is all over. That's spread all over, all around the world, right? And the only way it could change is if people, really wanted to change, and if people had the inspiration for change and they really wanted it, then it could change. But it's not going to change overnight. It's going to take time, right? But people got to want it first, right? But if people are not aware of, you know, or of what's the real underlying problem, then they won't do anything to change it because they're not seeing, right. They're not seeing really well. And then that brings us to the point of whose planet is it really, right? Most of the countries seem to be doing things similar to one another. So is there a single body that really run things, that say how this must be or that must be? Quite possible, right? Because we see them all doing things similar to one another. And